So the Browns front office made an addition. Bob Quinn, former general manager of the Lions, added as a consultant to Andrew Berry. Here's Andrew Berry explaining his thought process in bringing Bob Quinn on board.
Bob is someone that I have had a lot of respect for throughout the past few years, really since his time as director of pro for the Patriots, and then obviously with his time in Detroit. The former general manager's perspective is one that I very much value. Right, we've had Ryan here twice, and he's been an incredible resource for me. And with Bob, everything that he's done across football operations, everything that he's seen in the general manager's seat with Detroit, I really value his expertise, because the reality of it is, yes, I've been a year on the job, but there are still some things that are new situations or things that are going to be new for me in the next few years. And to have someone and have multiple people now that can provide a little bit of a roadmap in that regard, proves to be incredibly valuable.
And Jeff, I said this about Kevin Stefanski. The more I hear Andrew Berry, the more I like what I hear. I think that's, for a young GM, that's an incredibly savvy way to look at this and an incredibly savvy move.
He's very self-aware, and I have an appreciation for that. But he also is not making that move if he's insecure about his position within the organization. He understands that he's not going to be perfect, and having more experienced voices in his ear. I will tell you from a Detroit perspective, Lions fans are laughing right now, but I think some of that is it ended very poorly. He made a terrible decision with his head coach, and I think that weighs heavily on things. As a drafter and as an evaluator of talent, he was pretty good. He tended to prioritize the wrong positions, but I think his scouting eye and his free agency eye especially, they can help. And having the extra voices in the room, building a consensus like that. Ironically enough, that's what they're trying to do in Detroit now to replace Bob Quinn, we'll see how that goes with them. But I think Quinn, if he sublimates his ego enough and realizes that he's a smaller part of a bigger process, I think he'll be fine. I'm not worried about him trying to take over Andrew Berry's job or trying to usurp power or anything like that. That's not the way that Bob Quinn rolls. He's effectively taking on the role that, ironically enough, John Dorsey now plays in Detroit. They swapped ex-GMs in a consulting role, a sounding board role. I can tell you in Detroit, John Dorsey is very well received by both the players and the staff around him. And I have a feeling that that's going to happen with Bob Quinn too. It's going to be tough for him to erase the stain of Detroit. It did not end well at all for him in Detroit. But as with Clowney, he's getting a fresh start. This is a guy who does have some pretty significant accomplishments in his career, some feathers in his cap. He's got a chance to put some more in a new environment. So, while the Lions side of me, I'll admit, it was a little tough to see him get hired by the Browns. But at the same time, you know what? If Ryan Grigson can do what he's done in Cleveland, and after how he mishandled the end of his Colts career, I think it can work for Bob Quinn too. But it's the sounding board idea. I love the fact that Andrew Berry respects other people's opinions enough that he will listen to that and apply it into the team dynamic and team building dynamic. That's not something that a lot of young GMs, as precocious as Andrew Berry is, would have the confidence in themselves and the confidence in the people above them to trust him to do that. That says a lot to me about his standing in the organization and how much they feel, how comfortable he feels and how respected he feels by the people above him. Because again, that's not something that Bob Quinn would have done in Detroit. Bringing in an ex-GM to help him, as a sounding board. He probably would have been a little bit paranoid about that, but that's clearly not the case with Andrew Berry. And that's one of the reasons why the Browns are a successful organization right now.